I didn't bring anything back with me. I checked my truck, my gear, my clothes. There was nothing there. So explain this to me. Why did I wake up to wet footprints on my floor? They start at my front door and they don't stop. They end right next to my bed. I live alone, and I didn't bring anything back from the lake. There's something about fishing at night that feels different. Not the quiet, not the dark. It's the feeling that you're not the only one out there, standing at the edge of the water, waiting, because sometimes whatever's out there is waiting too, and sometimes it gets closer. These are true fishing horror stories where people went out alone and realized something else was already there. Trust me, you will want to stick around for the final one. Story 1. The Man Across the Lake. I used to fish alone at this lake about 20 minutes outside my town. It wasn't a popular spot, no docks, no lights, just a narrow stretch of shoreline and a dirt path leading down to the water. That's exactly why I liked it. No people, no noise, just me and the lake. One night, I got there just before sunset, set up my chair, cast my line, and waited. Everything felt normal at first, but once it got dark, I noticed something on the other side of the lake, a light, small, like a flashlight. I remember thinking it was strange because I had never seen anyone else out there at night before. Still, I figured it was just another fisherman. Then the light turned and pointed directly at me. It didn't move, didn't flicker, just stayed fixed on me, like whoever was holding it wasn't just looking around, they were watching me. I raised my hand and waved, no response. The light didn't move, didn't react, just stayed on me. That's when it started to feel wrong, so I stood up and started packing my things. And the second I did, the light shut off, instantly. Like whoever was out there didn't want me to see them anymore. That's when I heard it, not from across the lake, from behind me, footsteps, slow, heavy, coming from the tree line. I turned around and shined my light. Nothing, but the footsteps stopped the moment I looked. I didn't finish packing. I grabbed what I could and started walking back to my truck. And the whole time, I could hear something moving behind me, keeping pace, not getting closer, not falling behind, just following. When I got to my truck, I threw everything in and got inside as fast as I could. Before I started the engine, I looked back toward the lake. The light was back on, in the exact same spot, still pointed at where I had been sitting. In the glow of the light, I saw a large figure standing where I had been sitting just moments before. I could not make out who or what it was. I put her in gear and floored it the hell out of there. Story 2. Something took the bait. I used to fish off a small wooden dock near a campground. It wasn't anything special, but it was quiet at night. One evening I kept getting hits on my line, but something felt off. Normally, when a fish bites, there's movement. A pull, a struggle. This felt different. It felt heavy, slow, like whatever was on the other end wasn't trying to get away. It was just there. I started reeling it in, slowly. The line stayed tight, but it didn't move like anything alive. When I finally pulled it close enough to see, there was nothing there. Just the hook. The bait was gone. I checked it, confused, then cast again. Same thing happened. A slow, heavy pull. No struggle. I reeled faster this time, more aggressive. Whatever was on the line came toward me easily, too easily, and right before it reached the dock, the line went slack. I pulled it up, hook still there, bait gone. That's when I looked down at the water. Right below me, it was completely still, no ripples, no movement. And then, something hit the underside of the dock. Not hard, just enough to make the wood shift slightly. Then it happened again. A slow drag, like something running along the bottom of the boards. Not swimming, dragging like something was upside down walking on the boards. I didn't wait to see anything else. I left everything there and didn't go back. I can always replace my fishing stuff and my pants that I shit full, but I can't replace me. Story 3. The Voice. I went fishing with my cousin one night at a lake we'd been going to since we were kids. We were sitting maybe 10 feet apart. just waiting. It was quiet. Too quiet. At some point, I heard him say my name. Soft. Like he didn't want to be loud. I looked over and said, "What?" He looked confused. Said, "I didn't say anything." I told him I heard him. Clear as day. He shook his head. Then we both heard it. My name, again, this time from the water. Not loud, not echoing, just there. Like someone was just below the surface, trying to get my attention. We both stood up. Neither of us said anything. We just stared at the lake. Then my cousin whispered, "Did you bring anyone with you?" I said no. And he said, "Then why is there someone standing out there?" I followed where he was looking. About 15 feet into the water, there was a shape. Too tall, too still, and it was facing us. It looked like it had large yellow glowing eyes, but the eyes were not moving, just stuck on us. The figure kind of swayed with the water, but not in a natural way. We didn't wait to see what it would do, or even what it was. We ran, left everything behind. Neither of us have gone back since. Final story. Something came back with me. I went fishing alone that night. It was the same lake I'd been going to for years. Nothing special about it, just quiet, out of the way. The kind of place you go when you don't want to see anyone else. I got there late. It was already dark. Set up near the edge, cast my line, and just waited. For a while, nothing happened. No bites, no movement, not even the usual sounds you'd expect at night. It felt off. But I stayed. Eventually, I felt something hit my line, hard, not like a normal bite. It was sudden, heavy, like I had snagged something. I figured it was a log or debris, but when I tried to reel it in, it moved, slow, dragging, dead weight. I remember thinking it was a big fish at first, until it didn't fight back. Not once, just came toward me. I kept reeling, closer, closer, and then it broke the surface. I wish it hadn't. It wasn't a fish, pale, bloated, face half submerged, until the water rolled off of it, and I saw the eyes. Wide open, clouded, hollow, like they weren't even looking at anything anymore, just stuck like that. But for a second, it felt like they were looking right at me. I dropped the rod immediately, stumbled back, called the police. I didn't go near it again. I just stood there watching it drift at the edge of the water until they arrived. They took it away, asked me questions, told me I did the right thing. Eventually they let me leave. I went home, tried to forget about it, but that night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that face, those eyes just under the surface, staring up at me, waiting. I finally fell asleep at some point. But I woke up a few hours later, and something felt wrong. At first, I didn't know what it was. Then I heard it, a wet sound, somewhere in the house, soft, dragging. I sat up and listened. It stopped, complete silence. I got out of bed and opened my door. The hallway was empty, but the floor was damp, not soaked, just wet, like something had moved through there recently. I checked the doors, the windows, everything was locked. Nothing open, nothing broken. I went back into my room, closed the door. That's when I heard it again, right outside, breathing, slow, heavy, wet. Then something pressed against the door, not knocking, not trying to force its way in, just leaning against it, like it knew I was there. I didn't move, didn't make a sound. I just sat there, staring at the door, listening to it breathe. Eventually, it stopped. I don't remember falling asleep, but when I woke up, the floor outside my room was covered in water and footprints, bare, leading down the hallway, not toward the exit, not toward the doors. They led to my room and stopped right next to my bed. I didn't go back to that lake. I don't fish anymore, but every now and then, I'll catch something out of the corner of my eye, in reflections, in the dark, a face, pale, decayed, eyes wide open, just like they were in the water. And that's when I realized whatever I pulled out of that lake was never meant to be found, and it didn't stay there. Fishing is supposed to be peaceful, quiet, relaxing, but sometimes when you're out there alone, you might not be the only one waiting, and sometimes Whatever you disturbed doesn't stay at the lake. If you like tonight's stories, please give it a thumbs up. Comment if anything has ever happened to you on a fishing trip, and subscribe to Tales from the Fiend. Spread the positivity, because if you don't, then I wouldn't get in the water the next time you go fishing. You may never come back out.